Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the case study with me. Today, we're diving into a story that highlights the famous saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover." On social media, this couldn't be truer. Most of what we see is an illusion. People often appear different online than they are in real life. Sometimes, influencers create characters to entertain and grow their audience. But imagine if someone you admired online turned out to be something far darker in reality. Today's story is about such an influencer, a guy who rose to stardom only to become the center of a shocking scandal. And that's none other than Sun Wan Jung, also known as the Mama Guy. Sun Wan Jung's rise was meteoric. With over 55 million followers at his peak, he was Korea's top independent creator. The only group with more followers at the time was BTS, and unlike BTS, he wasn't a K-pop idol, just a regular guy who started making funny TikTok videos during the COVID lockdown. With his good looks and humorous content, he quickly gained a massive following, often playing quirky characters and shouting, "Mama." Soon, he became known as the Mama Guy. In July 2023, Sun Wan suddenly vanished from social media. Fans were puzzled. No one knew what had happened, and his management team stayed silent. Then, in December, shocking news broke across all major channels. A well-known figure was reportedly under investigation for a serious crime. Although his identity was initially kept secret, fans quickly realized that the suspect was none other than the Mama Guy. The news hit fans hard. They'd idolized him, but behind the entertaining persona was a much darker reality. To understand how he reached this point, let's look back at his life. Early life and ambitions. Born and raised in Daegu, Korea, Sun was a normal kid from a well-off, loving family. Like most kids, he had a range of ambitions. In elementary school, he loved math and science, then pursued boxing professionally in middle school. But by the time he entered college, he had a newfound passion for music production and enrolled in a sound engineering course. But Sun's path to fame wasn't without challenges. His parents, like many typical Asian parents, were initially hesitant about his creative ambitions. But Sun excelled academically, and his achievements eventually convinced them to support his dream. By 2020, Sun was living with friends in an apartment when the world went into lockdown. Like millions, they spent their days scrolling through social media. This was when Sun started posting TikTok videos, and his following grew incredibly fast. He went from a regular college student to a TikTok star almost overnight, gaining freedom and financial independence. This fame also came with a demanding schedule, interviews, collaborations, and constant creation, which started taking a toll on him. Social pressure and lifestyle. As his fame grew, so did the pressures. Sun began leading a lifestyle filled with parties, clubs, and indulgences. His friends, mostly fellow influencers, had a big influence on him. Without family or mentors around, he was left to make choices on his own, often leaning toward the extremes of fame. Despite his online persona as the cute mama boy, Sun's real life was veering far from that image. Fame and fortune began to change him, leading him into a world that was ultimately destructive. Then came that fateful night in July. Sun and his friends attended a party where they met a young woman. Reports suggest that Sun and his friends, after an evening of drinking, crossed unforgivable boundaries. They reportedly pressured her into drinking excessively and took advantage of her vulnerability. Scene change, aftermath, and investigation. The woman eventually regained consciousness the next day, shocked and horrified by what had happened. She reported the incident, and it wasn't long before the authorities launched a full investigation. News of Sun's involvement spread, and fans were devastated. How could someone they admired be capable of something so horrendous? It's a heartbreaking story, but it's also a reminder. Fame can quickly lead people down dangerous paths, especially without the right guidance. While we may be captivated by online personas, it's crucial to remember that they're just that, personas. Background music softly. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this, and remember, not everything we see online is real. Stay safe, and see you next time on the